starts at the map. Toss in 3 wildly distinctive personalities,
Taekwondo,
plus 3 clever projects, and you've got a craft show that'll have you saying, "That's clever." Hi, I'm Angela Martinez. Welcome to That's Clever. Coming up, for this artist from California, it's all about layers when it comes to transforming a whole ball of wax into a whimsical painting. But first, this Kentucky crafter is the man when he welds a seat out of aluminum. Pull up a chair and find out why. Next on That's Clever. Welcome back to That's Clever. We're on the road finding real people making really cool crafts. When this artist from Louisville, Kentucky faces off with aluminum, smiling becomes contagious.
Hi, I'm Fred Miller, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I love making aluminum sculptures. Besides welding aluminum, I also love Taekwondo. But today, I'm going to make this Happy Man chair. I'd love to stay out in this fresh Kentucky air all day long, but I'd never get my work done. I have to go to my studio. Welcome to my studio. This is where I build my aluminum dreams. The inspiration for my work is the doldrum of everyday furniture design. Time to get to work. First thing I do to make my Happy Man chair is to cut out my pieces. In order to make the shape that I need, I angle the guide to the correct dimensions. It's time to make my cuts. Got all my pieces cut, and now it's time to tack weld the legs. I use the wire wheel to clean up the edges before I weld. I use these heavy steel bars to support the legs before I weld them. Since aluminum needs an alternating current, I use a TIG welder to attach my pieces. The reason I love to work with aluminum is it's very lightweight, it's very strong, and it finishes to a nice, bright, shiny finish. The leg is tack welded together, and now it's time to run the bead. When I'm running my bead, I use the filler rod to add metal to the weld if it needs it. Now I have to clean it up with a flap disc. First, for safety, I have to put on my goggles and a mask. I've finished 2 legs. One of them is just tack welded on 2 sides. Now it's time to put the seat together. In order to get better welds, I sometimes have to hit the pieces with a hammer. What's a Happy Man chair without a Happy Man face? The next thing I'm going to do is to trace the template onto the metal. The next thing I have to do is to cut some holes for the eyes and mouth. I'm going to change bits now to make a bigger size hole. And now I'm going to clamp it down to the table so I can use the saber saw. Cut out the 2 eyes, and cut out the mouth of this happy guy. I've also welded onto the back of the face another identical piece so that when I cut this with a bandsaw, I'll have both the face and the back of the head. Safety first. I use the straight edge to make sure that my bandsaw cuts are straight. Now that's a happy face. I tack weld the head together just as I do with all the other pieces. Everybody should be as happy as this guy. Time to make the shoulders of this happy man. This is going to be my seat back. I'm now going to take it over to the bender to get the back in the right position. That ought to do it. It's now time to attach the shoulders and the head. Head and shoulders, and now for the back. Is that guy happy or what? Now I have to attach the body to the seat. I have to ground the piece directly since I moved it off the table. I got my seams all done, and now it's time for some texture. I use the flap disc in order to give my aluminum a really nice finish. I've added some arms, and they're fashioned just the way I made the legs. I've also added hands and feet. There he is, my happy man chair.
We're heading back to Louisville, Kentucky now. Fred never holds back when he bends metal over backwards, and he's creating a functional wine accessory.
I'm back. This time I'm going to make my wine man. The first thing I'm going to do is to use my templates to draw out the figures on the metal. Got my template all laid out. It's time to go saw at the bandsaw. Now I'm going to smooth the edges and give it some nice texture. In order to get my texture, I'm going to switch to finer grit flap disc. Now I'm going to take the body and bend it a little bit to give it a little life. I'm using this bender, which I've made. It's a pipe just welded to the table. I used various clamps and a jack and various bars to get the pieces aligned so I could weld them properly. And I'm ready to start welding them. Okay, I've finished the weld. Now I'm going to clean up that joint a little bit. Beautiful. I've finished another leg and an arm. But my wine man won't be able to hold up a wine bottle with just one arm, so now I have to add the second arm. And now he's ready for the final touch. A glass coaster and a bottle of wine. And now my wine man is complete.
Everywhere we go, we find talented crafters hard at work on the latest, greatest project. And we just shown you